G'day Malcolm, haven't seen you for a while. Ah mate, yeah, it's been a while, yeah, haven't seen you for a while, yeah. What have you been up to? Oh mate, just farming stuff, just dealing with the weather and the bloody economy and all that sort of stuff, mate. Nothing particular special, mate, Yeah, just on my way home from the meeting of the Farmers Federation, mate. Yeah, we're just sort of having a bit of a chat, bit of a chinwag about, farming, what's been happening, problems we might be having, Anyway, the subject of health and safety come up, mate, Now, farming's a pretty dangerous game, mate, when you look at it, I was surprised by how many farmers get themselves killed every year, mate, Can't remember what the figure was, but there was a few of them, mate, Tractors get them, animals get them, and I've come a few close times with animals, That petal thrown me off a couple of times, broke me wing on one occasion. And that flower, the bull, mate, he's always trying to get me. Mate. Yeah, so, chainsaws, mate, they're dangerous bits of kit, They're always trying to bloody chop your arm off or something with a chainsaw. So yeah, farming's a bit of a dangerous sort of business, mate. But in fact, just the other day I had a bit of a happening, mate. And it wasn't any one of those sort of big things. It was just a crowbar, just a crowbar. Now that old flower, the bull, the old bull flower. I probably retired him a little bit early. He's still keen on his bully duties, mate. Anyway, I've got him in a retirement paddock. There's a few cows in there with him, but the main herd was beckoning, mate, And one of the fence posts had rotted a bit, and he just knocked it down and walked over it, mate, Got in with the main herd, That's all right, mate, Once he'd sort of calmed down a bit, I sort of got him back in the right paddock, in with the retirement paddock. And anyway, I had to go and fix the fence. Now, it was up on the side of the hill a little bit, and it's been a bit dry. So I went up there with a ute, and started digging a hole. Now it's pretty dry and hard, so I've got the crowbar, mate, I'm sort of banging with the crowbar to dig a bit of a hole, and then shoveling it out, and banging with the crowbar. Took a bit of doing, but I got the hole pretty well dug. And anyway, I dug with the, bang with the crowbar, and I sort of went boof into the ground with it, and then bent down to get the shovel, and the crowbar, well, it didn't go in the ground very fast, so it just went, boom, hit me in the scon, mate, right on the noggin, mate, It didn't knock me out, but I tell you what, it knocked me a bit senseless, mate, I'm seeing stars, I'm a bit wobbly, mate, So I decided to call it a bit of a day at that point, mate, I thought, oh geez, I'm going to go home and take a few Panadol or something, mate, So anyway, I staggers over to the ute. The bloody bugs are a bit bad today, mate, yeah, they're bugging all over the place, mate, At any rate, I staggers over to the ute, and old Bruce comes with me, and we jump in the front of the ute, mate, Now, I'm only in the paddock, so I'm just driving across the paddock. Now, I'm heading down to the bottom corner of the paddock. Now, that's where the gate is that goes into the next paddock. And there's a dam down there as well. Now, because it's been dry, the dam's sort of like only half empty. And where the water would normally be, that's all mud, mate, real mud. I've been meaning to sort of pump the water out and get in there with a bulldozer and clean it all out, mate, but I just haven't had the time, mate, Haven't had the time. So anyway, I'm driving down, and the front wheel of the ute goes into a rabbit hole, mate, Boom. Full lock, goes swinging around on full lock, pulls the steering wheel out of my hands, mate, boom. And the ute starts spinning, mate, it's sort of doing 360 spin, mate, Bruce has sort of come flying across to sit on my lap. I haven't got a seatbelt on, we're only going across the paddock in first gear, mate, And the ute comes back around, and lines up direct with the dam, mate, you know. And we go nose first into the mud. Whoop. Now the back wheels are still on dry ground, but the rest of the ute's well and truly buried in the mud, mate, you know. Yeah, and I'm sort of all woozy from the crowbar. Now I'm bloody bruised and everything from rolling around in the ute, mate, you know. Anyway, I tried to open the door. Well, the door's in the mud, mate, you know. It ain't opening. So, you know, I got to climb out the window. Well, I sort of climbs out the window, and I just sort of fall into the mud, you know. Well, you know, what can you do? Well, I sort of try and get to my feet. Well, the mud goes, woof, it just sucks me down, mate. I'm stuck in the mud, you know, mate. I'm sort of, can't sort of move, mate, you know, I'm just stuck there. Now, Bruce, she jumped out the window and had 4 dog legs on her belly, mate. She's not going anywhere either. And we're struggling, and because this is my boundary, there's a road goes past, you know. And, well, there, a familiar looking ute starts coming along, you know. So I'm waving at the ute, mate, and it pulls up, you know. And it's the granny, mate, you know. Mate, oh, she's a good sort, mate, you know. Anyway, she gets out of the ute, climbs through the fence, comes over, has a good laugh at me, mate, has a good laugh, you know. And it was a funny sight, you got to give her that, mate. At any rate, she gets some old fence posts that I still had in the back of the ute and lays them on the mud. And then I had some big, thick, like 3/4 of an inch thick rubber mats in the boot to protect the floor of the ute. And we get that and we sort of put it on the, well, she did, not me, I'm stuck in the mud watching. Put those sort of mats on top of the fence posts, and that sort of made a bit of a ramp that she could crawl out on, you know. And she pulls Bruce out first, you know. You get your priorities right, you get the dog out. Anyway, then she sort of starts heaving on me, you know, so she's pulling and I'm struggling, and even Bruce is getting in on the act, you know, grabbed hold of me sleeve and pulling on that, you know, mate. Anyway, eventually I get out of the bog, mate, you know. Eventually I've got out, you know. But then I'm caked in mud. I mean caked in mud, you know, we both are. And Bruce, we're all caked in mud. And it's that sticky stuff, mate. It's that sticky stuff that sticks and sticks and sticks so that you end up 6 inches taller than you should be, you know, and all over the clothes, mate. We're saturated in mud, mate, you know. Anyway, the granny sort of takes me to her place, you know, which is just down the road. And, well, she's got this outside shower, you know, just next to the tank, a bit of a concrete slab, you know, and, you know, turns the shower on, trying to get the mud off us all, you know. Bruce wasn't that keen, but we're, you know, getting the mud off the clothes. Well, she starts getting the gear off, mate, you know. So I do the same, you know, get the gear off to try and get the mud off, you know. And I tell you what, mate, I'm glad that was a cold shower we were having. Mate, you know. Anyway, we got all the mud off, you know. She lends me a pair of old overalls, mate. She gives me a feed, mate, even, you know. That's one of them occasions when you know, a bad thing she turns into a good thing. I had dinner with the granny, mate. Oh, she's a good sort, mate, yeah. Anyway, we did that, you know. Now thinking about getting your gear off, another thing that got talked about at the Farmers Federation was raising a bit of money for charity, mate, you know. They decided they wanted to raise a bit of money for charity. That's all right, you know. And then some wag says, how about we have a nudie calendar? A comic nudie calendar, mate. Mate. So, that actually got up, mate, you know. Can you believe it? Yeah, I couldn't believe it, mate. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, they got 11 blokes volunteered to be in this nudie calendar, mate. And they're sort of looking around the room, mate, and they all start focusing in on me a bit, you know. And I'm thinking, geez, what am I doing? Mate. Anyway, the pressure got to me, mate, and I said, yeah. I said I'd do it, yeah. Yeah, can you imagine it, mate? I couldn't imagine it. Anyway, what happened was, they sort of picked on July for me. So I'm going to be Farmer July, mate, you know. You're going to take a picture of me working on the ute, mate, in the buff, with a strategically placed toolbox, mate, just to hide the bits and bobs, you know. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right, mate, yeah. You know, mate, it's a funny thing how times change, even in a bloke's lifetime, mate, you know. You expect things to change, you know, over time, like history, you know, like from Captain Cook's time to now. But in a bloke's lifetime, you sort of don't really think much is going to change, but it does, mate. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, mate, yeah. I can remember, if you go back when I was a young bloke, nudie calendars were as common as anything, mate, you know. All the major companies would put out a nudie calendar, start of the year. You'd have pictures of naked women sitting on tractors and sitting on bales of hay, you know, the tractor companies, the chainsaw companies, you know, stock and station agent even, you know, produce store. All had nudie calendars, mate, you know. Didn't think anything of them. Commonplace, mate. Just part of life. You know, hang them up in the kitchen, hang them up in the lounge room, in the office, in the shed. Calendar. Didn't think anything of it, yeah. But then the Country Women's Association started sort of saying that they perhaps weren't sort of suitable. And the blokes are going, yeah, don't be prudish, doesn't matter, nothing. And the women are going, you know, maybe we should think about it, you know. Anyway, now I'm going to tell you a story, mate. Now, this is a true story, mate, you know. I taught myself how to weld aluminium years ago, and I decided to build a frame to go over the back of the ute, you know, so I could carry long sticks of timber and like irrigation pipe and what have you, like, you know. And anyway, I went to a factory in town that was an aluminium window factory, but they sold aluminium as well, you know. I needed some angle and some box section and what have you, so I just, you know, had a big list, and a bloke cuts it all up for me, you know, loaded in the back of the ute, and he gives me a chitty, mate. You know, he says, take that up to the girls up on the mezzanine level in this factory and pay them. Oh yeah, no worries. So up I go, you know, I sort of walk into this office, and it's quite a plush sort of an office, you know, carpet on the floor, mate, you know. Now, this is before computers, there was just typewriters, mate, typewriters on the desk, mate. And the first thing that struck me, mate, was the whole place was plastered with nudie pictures, poster-sized pictures, of footballers, mate. These Adonises, mate, you know. Muscles on muscles, mate, you know. They're holding a football in a strategic location. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, mate, I didn't feel all that comfortable, mate. I can tell you. Yeah. Now, it was at that point I got it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. I understood at that point. And I switched camps at that point, you know. I went onto the Country Women's Association side and sort of said, nah, we need to pull it back a bit, mate, pull it back a bit. You know. Now, it took a while, but eventually the calendars started having girls with bikinis, and then the girls just disappeared altogether. It was just a picture of a tractor, you know. And, well, then the calendars are gone altogether, mate, you know. You know. So times change, mate, you know, and yeah, some change is good, some change isn't, mate, but, you know, that's what happens, yeah. Now, I just thought of another story, mate, in relation to nudie pictures, mate, yeah. Anyway, when I was a young bloke, you know, 18, 19, I went through my rebellious period, you know. I sort of went a bit rebellious, the way you do. Now, my old man, he was a smart bloke, mate. He's a smart bloke. He knew just to let me go, let me do it, and you know, grow out of it, mate. You know, and I did. You know, 12 months later, I'm back where I am now, mate. Yeah, working on a farm. But during that rebellious period, I grew the hair, mate. Bum length. I had bum length hair, mate. You know, yeah, windswept. I really was, mate, you know. I had them flared jeans, mate, you know, and the shirts that were all colourful, you know, flowery and and psychedelic, that's what they called it, psychedelic, mate, you know. All these, you know, that's me. Can you imagine it? Yeah, just imagine that, mate, you know. I was skinny then too, mate. I was skinny bloke, you know. Anyway, I'm in a paper shop, like a newsagent's, mate, you know. And I'm looking for a car magazine, mate. Now I'm sort of flipping through, looking. And the shop was pretty empty. There was only the girl behind the counter. But then I sort of just caught in the corner of my eye a couple of women walk in, you know. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, I sort of grabbed the magazine I was after, you know, and I'm sort of about to walk to the counter and, well, now, do you remember an actor called Jack Thompson, mate? Real Pants Man. Yeah, Pants Man Jack, you know, remember him? I was in that movie, Someday Too Far Away, remember that movie? Yeah, now, he done a nudie centerfold for one of the women's magazines, mate, you know, what was that? Cosmopolitan, I think it was, mate, you know. And, well, the two girls were buying the magazine, mate, and they're over at the counter, and all three of them sort of got the centerfold open, having a bit of a gander at Jack, mate, you know. But they'd only seen me from behind. They'd only seen the long hair, mate, you know, and slim, you know. And so when I walks up with the magazine, one of them goes, "Here, have a look at that." Well, as soon as she said it, she realised that she's talking to a bloke and not another woman, mate. Mate, they went bright red, mate, you know, and they sort of couldn't buy the magazine quick enough, and they're out like a rat out of a drain, mate. Woof, they're gone. The poor girl behind the counter, well, she couldn't get away either. She's Ferrari red, mate. And I buy the car magazine and I'm out of there, you know. Oh, mate, you know. The funny things that happen in life, mate, you know. Funny things that happen. Anyway, I've taken up too much of your time anyway. I better be on my way. I'm sure I'll catch up with you again some other time. Yep, see you later, mate.